Pledge of Allegiance. So, if y'all would rise, please, if you wish.
Let us pray. Oh God, on this Valentine's Day, we pause to remember and to give thanks for your great love for each of us, as demonstrated through the gift of your Son, Jesus. We thank you tonight for this great country in which we live, and for the privilege that we share together of living in this beautiful community. And we ask now that you would be with our leaders that govern us, that you would give them the wisdom of Solomon as they make decisions that will influence each of our lives. We thank them, we thank you for them and for their service, and we ask for you to give them direction as they meet tonight. In the name of Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen. Al. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
How you? Brown ragged, as usual.
Would anybody know the status of Kevin Mooneyham?
Not here.
It takes a commissioner.
Karen Ashford says he's in Gatlinburg, but I don't know.
I'm sorry, he is in Gatlinburg. That's right, he told me he was going to be there. And also, what we have is, Kevin George is not going to be here because this is his annual vacation with his whole family. They go to a farm show up in Louisville. He asked you to forgive him for not being here. He said, but it was something that they planned for a year, and they've done it ever since he was 5 years old, and he's 42 right now. So, and then Todd Hollingsworth is with his son up in the hospital. So
At Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt. Yeah.
At where?
At
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, at Vanderbilt. So if y'all would remember his son tonight in your prayers. Okay, we have a summary of last meeting. I have handed some of them out to the
Colorado.
I'm sorry.
Present.
Here.
Jimmy Mangus,
Here.
Jim Bush,
Here.
Kevin George, Ben Higgins,
Here.
Tony Neal,
Here.
Eddie Mooneyman, Bob Stuckey,
Here.
7 here, and 3 out.
Thank you, Mark. You received the summary in your package when I sent it to you, and I've handed out some of the summary to the audience here so they could see what we had done last meeting. This meeting is probably, because of the people that are not here, maybe we'll be able to get through it a little bit faster because we won't have to go through everything. Having read the minutes, with the exception of the fact is that I got the time wrong. We met at 10 o'clock in the morning, not at 6 o'clock. And do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Okay, the committee reports, and Mark, I had overheard you say that whenever, at the budget meeting tonight, that whenever the committee reports come up, that you're going to be taking up the budgets then, right?
That's right.
Because you are going to have to leave earlier.
Yeah, I'll leave early, but the budget committee met at about 20 minutes after 5, right before this meeting. You've got in your packet the county budget, county general budget amendments right here. They're pretty self-explanatory. In fact, Diane has a page at the very back explaining them, written out. One of the fire trucks, the first one is on the fire departments, on maintenance and repair. They had an insurance payment for damage that was done. when the insurance paid off, it was $5,473.75. The next one is a Homeland, and I don't, is it all right to take these together?
No, we're separate.
All right, separate, all right. Fire Department 10. I make a motion that we make this budget amendment to put this insurance money on maintenance and repair of vehicles.
Is that what usually is done, Mark? Is that what's usually done?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
The insurance company just paid what they're supposed to pay, and it
Okay.
just needs to go in that category, because we had no, you have no idea, see, early in the year of whether you're gonna have an insurance payment or not.
Right.
That's Jimmy.
No, I didn't get one of those.
It should have been out, sent out with
No, it
your
was
package.
in your,
It's
in
in
the
your
big
package.
manila
Big
envelope.
package?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
It's on down.
keep going.
Favorite.
Should be next
Next last.
It's in that,
maybe.
there you go.
There you go.
Hey, all right.
I make a motion that we do the budget amendment for the fire departments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Jim,
You
you
second,
second it?
Did you
he-
say?
No, he asked if we want to do it
Oh, okay.
individual or not.
Okay.
Now, one of the things I wanted to ask, I didn't hear completely, is this on Karen's, on the?
No.
Okay,
this is
okay,
Moortown.
this is on the.
This is on Moortown.
On
and they've
Moortown's
already-
insurance.
The check has already come in. Diane has to know where to put it.
Put it,
It's got to be put in some category with a number on it. That's just the way bookkeeping is. And so the bookkeeper has said, let's put it here with maintenance and repair, because that's what it went to do.
But not necessarily in Moortown, for whatever.
No, for
part.
whoever,
In the
Jim,
bottom.
that's just the whole, that's the
Yeah.
category for all of them.
Yeah.
But the damage was done to Moortown's truck, and the insurance company paid. And I'll make a motion that we pay, I'll put it in that category.
I'll second.
yeah. Go ahead and call the roll, Bobby.
Mark Parker,
Yes?
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Jimmy Neal,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Clint Higgins,
Yes.
Tommy Neal,
Yes.
Bob Stepps,
Yes.
motion carried.
Second one's Homeland Security Grant. They got $10,000 received in October of last year. October 10 for a grant, but they did not spend it till December of 11. That's the first one there, $10,209 for training, and it's going under training, but they didn't spend it till then. And the other one in Homeland Security is the fire truck that Homeland Security grant paid. It was received in February of 11, and our share was $10,000, and the grant was for $190,000, and it was approved by the county commission on April the 16th, 2011. But the truck was not paid for till last month, January 2012, which is in this year's budget. So that $201,000 and $200 needs to go under motor vehicles. So I'll make a motion that we approve the two budget amendments for Homeland Security.
Is there a second?
I second.
Jim Bush, second.
Jim?
Call the roll, Bobby.
Mark Parker,
Yes.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Jimmy Neal,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Clint Higgins,
Yes.
Tommy Neal,
Yes.
Bob Stepps,
Yes.
motion carried.
The Senior Citizen Center, a few years ago, the Senior Citizen Center, let me do a little bit more explanation. They're governed by a board. That board is approved by us. And we have some authority over that, but we don't have any direct authority over them because they got their own director that works for that board. They wanted to put their budget through the county so that they could be audited by the auditors from the state. Well, the state auditors have recommended to the county executive that we let them take care of their own auditing. One reason is, they go on bus trips and stuff like that to New York City and places like that, and there's all these red tape that if you were doing it with a government thing, you had to do. They can sort of be on their own if they're not under us, and it might be a liability to us even. So they are going to be a standalone with their budgeting and their bookkeeping, and they will be audited by their own auditor. So this wipes everything clean on the county of the Senior Citizen Center. That's what that is, and I'll make a motion that we let them have their own. It says, here's the explanation, no longer part of the county's budget as of December 31st, 2011, This amendment closes them out, and I move that we accept that amendment.
Is there anybody here from the Senior Citizen Center that is in an authority? Okay. Wanted to give a chance.
I second.
Jim Bush, second.
Mark Martin,
Yes?
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Jimmy Neiman,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Glenn Higgins,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Bob Stetson.
Yes.
Okay. The next one on your budget amendments is under miscellaneous, under judgments, taking it to the $25,000 that we voted the other night to pay for that judgment agreement that we made out of court and admitting no fault. Taking it out of the fund balance and putting it under the judgment line item to pay that judgment. And I move that we do that.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
You know, we're paying this $25,000 to buy her off. You know, I know the paperwork will say no fault, but I mean, it's just an agreement saying, yeah, we were at fault. Number two, if we go ahead and take it out of fund balance, we're double dipping the taxpayers of this county because the sheriff has already got his budget. Now, since it was in the sheriff's forte that this has happened, I think it ought to come out of his budget instead of going in our fund balance. I mean, we've worked hard trying to get everything in line.
I understand
Don't you
that.
remember one time that we had a jail employee to escape? He went over here and he stole a car,
Joe, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
All right? And we agreed to pay, and where did that payment come out of?
I don't remember.
It
Came
was
out of
the
my
sheriff.
budget.
It come out of the sheriff's department's
Because
budget.
it was $3,000 we paid Bobby Corley for the truck.
So, I mean, the president is established.
3,000 wouldn't hurt as bad as 25, though.
Well, I'm sorry. Why
we got-
why hold everybody else accountable for something that's happened in one area? We're double dipping.
Judge Melton is,
I'm not getting involved.
well, would you answer when we sign an agreement that we admit no fault, isn't that a binding agreement?
You're admitting that you're at no fault.
Okay.
Correct.
And if the opposing party also signs it, we're at no fault. But that's not where the 25,000 comes from.
That still means we gotta pay it still.
We gotta pay it somewhere.
Do y'all gentlemen see what I'm
I
doing?
understand perfectly what you're
I understand what you're saying.
I see it, but I mean, they've already cut their budget down to a minimum. I mean,
What if it'd been $1 million?
I cannot help that either.
What if it'd been, like I said, what if it'd been $1 million? You're gonna take, you gonna take all that out of their budget, if it'd been $1 million or $500,000 or 200,000?
Well, what I'm saying, we're
But you
dealing,
see what I'm
we're
saying?
dealing with what we're dealing with now.
Right, but what, I understand that, but it's the same principle, whether it be 25 or 100 or 200,000.
Well, see, we
you're
were named in the
punishing
lawsuit
regardless.
too. The county
Right.
was named in the lawsuit,
Right.
so.
I understand what you're saying, and I wish it was small enough that we could take it out of the sheriff's budget and not just damage law enforcement in this county, but I'm afraid it's not, and that's just my feeling about it. I wish it was 2,500 instead of 25,000. If it was 2,500, I'd say take it out of it, and it teach them a lesson to be more careful. But 25,000 is different.
You tell them to be more careful.
I hope they learned the lesson, but I don't know.
Well, hopefully that we're gonna be able, by recommendation, we're gonna be holding for the office holders. It's not a sensitivity program, it's
It's how to
just
fire somebody.
what the law says that you should do.
Procedure policy.
What is it?
Procedure policy.
Procedure policy, thank you.
That's right.
and
Well,
I
Jim,
second your motion.
All right, Jimmy seconded.
all right, Bob.
Mark Martin,
Yes.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Jimmy Neiman,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
No.
Glenn Higgins,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Bob Stetson.
Yes.
The next one is on debt service. It does not need a vote because we've already voted for it and there was enough money in that line item to do it. So It's just on there to show us.
And that one was
That was
what?
paying off the 911 building.
Sure, okay.
Paying off the expo center down here at the fairgrounds, and paying off the water lines that come out of Rutherford County over in the Porterfield community that, they couldn't build, but we could.
Right.
And the interest of all those, it says, you can look at our explanation there. The principal amount amended is the payoff minus the annual payment, which was already budgeted for in this fiscal year, and the amount budgeted and the interest was enough to cover the payoff. Now, we had another budget amendment proposal request from the library board, and I think you got it in front of you, everybody here. It's this one right here from the library board. Yeah, there, laying right there. Yeah, there. Let's pass that on down. They would like to change
I've got one. Thank you.
advertising, reduce it by 250, and increase postage by 250. Stamps went up by a penny here a while back.
Right.
And then programming, computer programming, reduce it by 500 and increase supplies by 500. And also, she says, in addition, the library wants to increase line item 432 by $1,500 so that they've already gotten more money in that category than is budgeted there with memorials that people have given to the library to memorialize a deceased relative or something. And they've got more than that in there, so they need to have more than that in there so they can spend it all. And those are the three recommendations by Rita Allen, the library director, and she came to the budget committee and proposed that, and it passed the budget committee unanimously, and I'll recommend it, make a motion that we pass it here.
I second.
Okay, Bob.
Art Carter,
Yes.
Russell Blue,
Yes.
Henry Mingles,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Clint Higgins,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Bob Stuckey.
Yes. Okay,
All right, no.
this assessment, are you gonna bring
Yes,
that
I
up
was
for
gonna,
Donna?
yeah, but you can go over it if you want to.
No, you go ahead.
It's a budget item because the tax assessor's given us the assessment summary for Cannon County here, and we're gonna have $20,000 of growth for this next year. You'll see down here at the bottom of it, $20,678. And that's a good thing. He did make a request, though, that we try to estimate what the tax rate is going to be, because they're already having loan companies call them, wanting them to tell them what next year's tax rate's going to be, so that they can estimate the escrow that people that are on mortgages have to be pulled out of their monthly payment. I told him that it'd probably be about the same or a little more, but it's not going to go down, I don't think. But now, I'm just passing that along, and if you all want to, Donald's here, he can, is there any way we can, what should we tell them? Doug, what should we tell a mortgage company that calls asking a question like that?
Tell them to wait until the audit for last year comes out so we can see the fund balance that we had at the beginning of the year per audit, and then we can estimate better once you guys get into the actual operating budget, because there might be some, large ticket items with the capital budget request. So they're just gonna have to wait for a couple months.
If you could do you agree with that, Donald?
Well, yes, in a way I do, in a way I don't. Because what it does is, if I give them based on 244, and y'all go in there and raise the tax rate to like 25 cents or something, these people don't have money in their account, so they come back at the end of the year and ask for extra money.
When is that audit coming out?
Should be any day now.
Okay. I think we can
Maybe
wait.
you could do it for next month, give me some kind of idea. I know you can't say exactly because you don't have no budget to work with.
Right.
But if you just kind of an estimate, fairly close.
Okay.
And the last thing for the budget committee was the Yazaway Fire Department has a truck that needs a lot of work on it. Needs $1,500 worth of work on the truck itself, and then it has an estimate of $3,500 worth of work on the tank that holds the water. They got two different bids on that. They could be taken separately. and Karen is, and Jimmy are both here. Some of us, yeah, there you go. And we didn't take any action on this, but it was explained to us. We don't know what the amount that's in the repair line item is right now. I mean, I know that probably just a few minutes ago, we put $5,400 in it, but I don't know if that $5,400 has already been spent or what. But the Gasaway Fire Department needs some repairs done on their truck, and Karen Ashford is here representing them to speak to the rest of them.
Karen, one of the things beforehand, did I hear that you say that it was sanctioned for you to come up here from the fire board?
We went to the fire board, they approved it and told us to come in.
Okay. That's what I wanted.
Who's on the, did they
If
do
you look
that?
under that top
Oh, yeah.
page, there's the estimate for the
They got it.
mechanic repairs and the
I
bottom
mean,
page
did
is
the
estimate
fire
for
board tell them to
the,
come?
the welder to fix the tank.
They
Everybody's,
told him to bring it before the commission, yeah.
everybody's, the problem that most people have with the fire trucks anyway is a tank, and that's always the highest. They have to take it off the frame or something like that, and,
No, they don't want to take it off the frame, but they have to take the baffles out and put the baffles back. Oh, he does have to take it off. He does have to take it off, I'm sorry. It's the whole bottom is really in bad shape.
And he said he wasn't gonna guarantee that he could fix it once he took it off, because he don't know what kind of shape the bottom of it is. Once he gets it with a welder, the whole may just start coming in.
Was this Toombs? Was this Randy Toombs?
Randy Malloy.
Malloy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And Michael Cook, the mechanic over there. That's who they told us to go to and get estimates, and that's who we called.
Well, I think my opinion would be before we spend money on repairing the truck, let's see if we can get the tank fixed first. Because there's no need in spending the money on the truck if the tank can't be repaired.
Because the tank, I mean, if we go to a fire, we have to fill up the water before we leave. The leak is that bad.
and the price on repairing the tank without a guarantee is how much?
$3,500.
$3,500.
$3,500.
And if you read it, it says that he's gonna keep up with his hours. If it's less, he'll charge us less. If it's more, it'll be more. Could be more than $3,500, but he was trying to give us a high estimate on it.
Well, one of the things that I rely on is Mark's knowledge of the budget system and everything else. And then the budget committee hasn't recommended anything. And they're left up to us to do that, and unless we know where the money's at, because that's what we stated at the very first, unless we know where the money's at. Now, do we have all that kind of money in repair of vehicles?
We've got more than that at the beginning of the year, but here we are, see, halfway through the year, and I don't know how, the budget committee, the reason we passed it on was because we don't know.
Okay,
And we didn't have enough information to make a decision.
that's what I was looking for. Because we don't have that kind of information either. And with, what's your name, sir? You?
Me?
Yeah.
Corey,
Corey, you had said that you didn't know, the guy, Randy, said that he couldn't guarantee it after he fixed it, or that he could fix it?
what he's saying is, he don't know exactly how bad the tank is till he gets it all and gets to the bottom of it to see. He's looked in the bottom, but till he flips it over and gets into it, he doesn't know.
What I would like to see is if we paid off, what, $404,000 of debt services of the day, every fire department, with the exception of Moortown, is in dire need of a new truck. I would like for us to see to purchase six new trucks, not new trucks, but newer trucks, and purchase them out of debt services. Because all we're doing every time we fix one of these trucks, we're just sticking a Band-Aid, and that's why that's money gone. That we'll never be able to recoup.
And we don't know that $5,000 is gonna fix this truck.
There you go. And like, I know, understand that it's a lot of money, but I would like to see us do something, because these trucks are in bad shape, and I think every fire department is in a dire need of better equipment.
We could do that by staggering it also, purchase one every other year.
But can you wait?
That's the other
That's
thing.
the
And
problem, Mark. I mean, if you don't fix this truck, do something, or
Yeah.
replace it, we're out. We don't have nothing.
That may be the first thing we need to buy
And
then.
I would like
West
to,
Side's out of a truck now,
Right.
see, they've been coming
They got a
before
pumper
us.
of their own sitting there in the bay.
Well, one of the
They've got a
things,
truck.
but I mean, I realize that, but one of the things that we did when we paid off these stuff like that was to be able to make sure that we had enough to be able to spread around and to continue the county business the way that it's supposed to be. And for us to go and go right back in for a good $500,000 if everybody here needs a truck. The last truck that Moortown got besides that 210 was $60,000, $65,000. You put that times 10, you got $500,000 and more, you know, so,
We can't afford that.
Moortown's truck costs $52,000.
okay, so 10 times
But
that.
I think
That
West
means-
Side, y'all have talked about 65 for them one, right?
We talked about it.
Well, coming spring, and when we get the other one paid off, let's go back.
I haven't
and get
even
it.
looked at trucks right now. I don't have an estimate on a truck, but I mean, I agree with Clint. I mean,
if you went back and put the 2 cents back in debt services and put it back up to 4 cents, you could, what we go back up to, you could pay off a truck every year. And in 5 years' time, or 6 years' time, every truck, one of the trucks be paid for.
just about all
And
your
your
trucks
fund,
are
and your fund, and that
70
fund balance
something model
would be
trucks.
not be
Your old-
changed. I would like to see something done because these ladies and gentlemen provide a service to us at no cost and provide, and take a chance with their life. And I would like to see them have the equipment to be able to protect us.
And see, that's something that we're all gonna have to figure out. Every one of us that came on the commission have got an idea of how they'd like to help the county, whether it be saving money or helping the employees out. I personally would like to see the employees start making some money, that they can be heroes to their wives and children and everything else, instead of coming home with just bare minimum of money, payday. And by getting rid of a lot of them bills, we've opened up an avenue to be able to give some raises this year.
But you can't pay, you couldn't increase salaries out of debt services though. And that's what
No,
debt
but debt
service.
service is gonna pay for a lot of other
Right,
things.
but that's what debt service is set up
I know
for.
that, I know
is
that.
For that reason.
But at the same time, we also use it so we don't have to raise
Right.
taxes.
But there are only a limited amount of things you can purchase out of debt service and pay for out of debt service.
But,
And that's,
but if we're gonna replace every truck in the county over the next few years, we're gonna have to start with the worst one.
right, not,
And like they say, if theirs goes down, they sitting there with nothing. Versus a department that's got another truck sitting in the
Well,
bay.
we freed up a lot of money on that as far as a yearly goes. I mean, that is one thing, but to sit there and say that we're gonna do everything all at once, we can't.
Don't see no way for that.
There is no way. So, we're looking at trying to get Gazaway into the fire business and something that they can depend on. So what we need to do then is consider a motion to allow them to get bids on on a particular truck, and let's go work on that before we repair that one and we find out that we spent money over nothing. I understand, I'm not supposed to be making motions as being the chairman, so I would entertain a motion.
Well, I agree with Clint, you know, and he made a good point there. I mean, you know, we've got to equip them. I mean, you got, what, 200 firefighters here in the county, does it for nothing.
You got,
They
what,
risk
8
their
departments?
lives and go out on these jobs and you know, and they take big chances.
I know, I got a son that does it.
Yeah,
You know.
and least we can do is give them a vehicle, you know.
I mean, I would like to entertain the idea, at least to see what it would, if we did do that, just run numbers on it, just to see. And like I said, we've got, if you put debt service back up to the 4 cents where it was last year, we could, I feel like we could.
Well, I think that you probably studied into it a little bit like that, and I want everybody to know that any commissioner here can get something started. So,
Well,
I just
another
don't-
thing too, you know, you're talking about trucks, you know, let's just hypothetically, say we got everybody a truck, okay? Now, if it's anything like this list on this one, of all the repairs that's gotta be made, where is the maintenance schedule? Do we run them in the ground until we got to do something?
I guarantee it's cheaper than what that's gonna cost to fix
That's
that.
beside the point.
Well, I don't know about
I mean, you know, look, I work in a garage for a company. We can't ride down the road with a truck like this right here. We keep them maintenance, a scheduled maintenance. If a light goes out, you fix it. If you got an oil leak, you fix it.
If a light bulb goes out, we do replace it. And
Well-
sometimes out of our own pockets, Jim.
Well, that's
But
good.
we're not talking about bulbs, we're talking about electricals that we can't
Exactly,
find.
exactly.
I wanna make one comment.
That's it. But see, I mean, a list like this,
We inherited a lot of that.
Yes.
well,
When the
When the
county
truck was
bought
bought.
it, when you buy something
The
old.
brakes wasn't working when I was down there.
All right, hold on. We'll have one person talking at a time, please. Karen?
see, that's what I'm getting at, you know.
The brakes, when we bought the truck, well, Auburn was having problems with the brakes to start with. But now they told me, when I talked to them about the truck, that as far as they knew, it was a pretty sound truck. But it's 75, it model, and I mean, things happen and
35 years old.
it's old. I mean, things are gonna happen and sometimes a lot of it
37.
happens all at once. It's not that we're not trying to maintain the truck.
Mhm.
It's not, that's not it. I'm sorry if that's the way you see it.
Well, Clint, I believe you got a motion to make then, don't you?
Well, I would like to see us take a study in to see what it would cost and if it's even feasible or not.
Okay, now,
possible.
we're talking about all the fire departments go
Well,
with, or?
You'd be talking east side, Auburn, east side, Short Mountain, west side, Bradeville, Gasaway, Midway. That's your six. Because I think Moortown, I talked to Michael, and their truck there's they've had it 3 years now. So I think they're pretty well, I'd like to see.
We need to get on a schedule and replace the Saris truck first, and then work at it.
But you got two down there.
I know.
I don't think
Just
that,
one, you got
I don't think that it would be any inconvenience I'm with you on getting the worst truck. And of course, they don't have one down west side, but, there's no reason why you can't check.
Right, I'm not saying let's do it. I just would like to check into it and see,
Yeah,
run numbers
and
on it.
change how you brought it up, you can do it.
Bring us a firm, I say bring us a firm bid to the next
Yes.
meeting on another truck.
That's why we started meeting on once a month, so you could do that.
And
not
what's the
waste.
oldest truck you wanna look at?
Well, get Gasaway to get you looking.
Well, I know, but I mean, what year model do you wanna stop at going backwards?
Well, they would know what they needed. I mean, you'd have to know that you can't just bring something up here that's just extraordinary. I mean, as far as that goes, you need to have something that would,
Something around $50,000.
yeah.
I started to
like
say,
that.
a truck's gonna cost you somewhere between 60 and 70,000. You can count on that.
A good truck.
Yeah.
It's gonna last a while, yeah. I mean,
Somewhere
we
between
think-
60
we've
and
had these
70.
trucks
You
20
can
years.
count on that.
And you look at that list right there, the biggest thing is the tank, and there's no way to maintain
Well,
that
it's
tank. I mean, it's either
30
gonna rust out or it's not.
That's right.
It's 37
Newer
years
trucks
old.
Stuff right here can be
Probably
fixed.
ethylene tank, right?
37-year-old.
I wish they did have those tanks that can get hit by a train and they don't burst. You know what I mean? They're plastic. Something like that. You gotta leave, Mark?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Whatever y'all do suits me.
You wanna put Jim in charge of that? Anyway. All right.
So do you
Then,
want?
1, 2, 3,
let me
4,
ask one
5,
question,
6.
Bob. Do you want us to get a bid and bring it next meeting?
Yeah, and I don't think that requires a vote, do you?
No?
I think that you should, and come back to it should be March 13th meeting, and tell us what you got, because we're gonna go from there, and as, Commissioner Higgins said that, hey, if we can hide the money and we can make everybody safe, maybe that'll do it. But then again, if they all come in at once, they're all gonna go out at once, so that'll do that. Okay. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Now, Thea Prince, I would like her to come up. You have what I've just handed out to you, the Cannon County Solid Waste Study. We have had we have had the CTAS people that are on solid waste. So we're talking about the people that's in the know. That's the one that would advise us in the first place, and that's the one that would advise the state too. So we've had them look into this solid waste study, and we've had, and I appreciate, we had Thea, and we had Kevin and Todd, and,
Corey Davenport, Neil Applebaum.
yeah, Corey and Neil.
We have, for those of you who haven't
I got that either.
read or heard about what we were instructed to do, we're a study committee, and the points that are on your first page, first and foremost, we're going to contain or reduce, if possible, the operating cost of the solid waste operation. We're just going to take a solid look at it. We're secondly going to look at the ways to increase the recycled materials. We're throwing away money, and when we put it in the landfill, and we're not throwing it away, we're throwing lots of money away that to some degree can earn us money. Like with our corrugated, that's up at over 140 a ton we get currently. It's been as high several years ago as 200. It's been as low as 35. It's one of those markets you can't control, but working with a state nonprofit called REMSET, it's their job to find the best markets at the best time and work with every county, and that's what they've been doing for us to put us in the position we are. Anyway, so thirdly, we're going to review the solid waste operation here in the county and make sure we're in compliance, that we're doing what we should be doing. And then fourthly, this group is going to prepare a recommendation and some findings and bring it to the March meeting so that you can find out what we have found out. And all our members are doing things like going to wherever their kids are going to school. They're talking to the principal to see what's available in every area of our county and what would be supported or not supported. So the biggest help we've had, of course, is CTASC, the county technical assistance that the state provides to every county at no cost, and they're in it and at it all the time, and so they are very, very good at getting a handle on information, and that's why we're bringing some of this information to you. And that the second page is background information, which lets you know where Cannon County stands as far as the cost per ton of landfilling. And we're also, on the third page, we want to look at our haul contract. We haven't had a contract with a hauler for since '05. We're not saying we should change haulers, or we're just looking at the contract and make sure that we have a contract if that's what legally we should do. And we want to make sure that the contract protects both the county and the hauler and is fair.
You said you're wanting to take bids?
Yes. What is it going to come
Is that
down
what
to,
you're
Jim?
saying?
That's what I think you can expect we'll recommend at the March meeting. But I'm not here with any definitive answers right now. I'm just letting you know what we're looking at.
No, but
Because
CTAS right here does recommend.
does recommend it, and this is CTASC helped prepare this report. County responsibilities. We want to make sure that we know what the hauler's responsible for, what the county's responsible for, because maintenance on older equipment has been an excessive problem sometimes, and it takes the cost per ton up $12 a ton more just by having to repair the equipment over at the convenience center. And it's really not a convenience center, it's really a transfer station, and that's my final information and another reason for sharing this with you. Our county is paying to be registered at this site as a transfer station. It gives us more authority to do things than just a convenience center where you drop things off. It is the opinion of the CTAS group that there's plenty of property available to effectively design a transfer station. And with this design would come the possibility or the idea of maybe having a private entity run our transfer station. It can be at varying degrees. I'm on the last page where it says next steps. The county would benefit from the development of a comprehensive RFP, which means request for proposal, with several options in it. We could outsource or have someone else do privately run all the transfer station operations. That would mean they would improve the location so it could be efficient at no cost to us. And they would haul off, they would improve their infrastructure, maybe the direction that everything is dropped off, or maybe where recyclables can be more efficiently dropped off. We could have different options in this request for proposal. We can have them I'll just read it along. Outsource the hauling operations. That means the county would provide the infrastructure. We can do half and half. They do it all, we do some of it. We can negotiate the gate rate at the area landfill. Part D is we can even look at partnerships. There are, for example, DeKalb County is within days or weeks, I guess, of closing their landfill.
Right.
So that means they're going to be looking for where to take their solid waste and at what rate. If we can group with other counties that are looking for a better price and a better deal, that's an option for us. And also number E, it's e-cycle and other waste operations. There are many options we can request professional help at, and that's done by a document called the request for proposal. And that's what brings me here with this information and your approval for us taking that step. Making that step to request something costs us nothing. It doesn't hold us. We're not committed to anything. We're just saying that we want to look at the bigger picture and see what might be possible.
Okay, if I may, Thea.
Yep.
I want to continue on with this, and I'll tell you on the different things that can be done. So far, we've outsourced the ambulance service, and the sheriff has outsourced medical, and they're all supposed to be saving and making money. When I talked with CTAS, they were very adamant on the fact is that bids have got to go out. And here's what we can bid on. We can actually bid on somebody to come in and do the whole thing, bring their own equipment to where we don't have to repair anything. Now, they're going to be a company that's wanting to make the money, so they're going to be making the money. The best steps it is to be able to make money. We want to recycle. We want to recycle plastic. We want to recycle cardboard. And if we had some contract with somebody that wants to come in, and there's plenty of people, companies around the United States that want to come in and do this. So, is Mike here? When we had that meeting, Mike was there, and Mike told us that Mike Pemberton here, that Mike Pemberton would come out and fix any of the equipment at any time. He said it at no cost, but it specifically says that after an hour, he'll be charging $20 an hour.
But he never has.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying is that there's no contract since 2005, so anything can go on. And we're looking at the load, a minimum of 20 tons. Do we weigh it over here? He weighs it when he gets there. He doesn't weigh it over here. So then there's that difference. I want Mike Pemberton to bid. He's a local boy, and we want to be able to use local. But I want somebody else that can bid, that can come in and streamline that so much that we would be cutting our bills down, and we will be cutting the bills down. Right now, we pay almost $600,000 a year for this, and at the end of the year, we have to continue to come up with money to pay for stuff that's broken. So, if you would take this home and read this, because you only got it right at the starting of the meeting, and that's going to be always going to be a problem, is that I've got to get we meet every month, and I've got to get you a packet out there so that you can review it, and there's still stuff coming in. So that's why you don't get all the stuff here. And there's another thing too. I understand that Mike Corley and Mike Gannon are working on a contract now for the solid waste with Mike Pemberton. I would recommend that he don't do that. We want bids taken out, if that's what the commission wants. But I think that having bids taken out for everything that comes from the county that's over so much money is not only prudent, it's financially better for us. People want to make money, they're gonna make the best deal that they can. So,
What's being done with the scrap metal over there right now?
pardon me?
What's being done with the scrap metal?
It's, Pelham's pays us for it. Mr. Pemberton hauls it off usually once a week for, I think he gets $200 for hauling it off over to, and we've been getting some good checks, I think. It's over in my other folder, but several $1,000s this year. 10, 12,000 maybe. And that's with whatever the going rate is. I think it's 13 cents a pound. Does that sound close?
I think that's right.
And I think aluminum, which there isn't very much aluminum, but it's been 70 cents a pound. And I don't know if it's there now, but anyway, just to finish up, and the very last thing is due diligence. And that is that we want to ensure that the hauler has, when we do have the contract, that the surety bonds and the insurance is what it should be. And we also, we may want to look at weight tickets and haul tickets a month, a year, just to make sure that everything is in line so we don't have any surprises at the end of the audit, and that we're doing things we should. All I really would like to, and I don't know if you even need to have a motion for this, but I would like you to support our study committee requesting this RFP so that we have more information and directions. And we're going to request, this request is going to be options in all directions, with the county doing parts if they choose to break it out, or at the other end of it, the private entity doing the whole thing.
Okay, do you know who to contact? Because you're the chairman of this board, this committee, study committee. Do you know everybody to contact? Who you would
For the
contact?
RFP?
Well, yeah, for the,
I will refer to Ms. Kim Rhea, has been doing all this research, and have her come up with, and Doug, if he's in on this, to come up with a list of suitable private entities, and we have another meeting in 2 weeks.
I think this is a step in the right way. If we're going to be able to try to save money, and that's what I've heard out of this commission, to get the best for the least, then I think we need to pass this saying that, and I do think that it needs a motion on it, Thea.
Okay.
Because I want it down in writing somewhere.
I'm just sorry my two supporters aren't here to.
Well, yeah.
I got
No.
a question on this. Do
Sure.
you know why these counties are getting lower rates? Is it because they're bigger counties, or what's the deal with that?
Bigger counties, better deals with our haulers, all different reasons. And if there may be, Rutherford County, I know for sure, I can tell you, they don't pay a tipping fee to the landfill. It was the deal that was run about 30 years ago. And so that it's going, not only that, but when they're the host landfill, so when we take our solid waste over there, we pay them to take it, and they collect from us. So there are different reasons why things cost more or less. But and I can find, if there's something individually that you'd like to know about, we can just.
I just seen like
We
one
can
county
break it
here,
down.
they're paying 22.4, where we're paying 31.6. I was just wondering
Right.
what the difference was, if it was because they were a bigger county or what, you
It's
know.
usually where they make the deal, which landfill they use, which haulers they use. If they have a transfer station, maybe they have a private transfer station like we're talking about.
Yeah, one of the things that Mike has always told us in the last meeting was he'd been negotiating with them, and he says he thinks he got them negotiated down to 29. But I think we'd probably be able to negotiate a little bit more. They've got us between, I mean, we can take ours to any landfill that you want to contract with. This just so happens to be the closest. And if you'll look on the next page, I think it's the next page, it shows where we're paying per mile,
$4.23,
$4.23,
yeah.
yeah. $4, and of course, that goes along with everything else. When something goes up, then that goes up. And it constantly does that over and over. The liability, I think will be taken care of because it's going to be named out. This is what we want whenever we want somebody to run this landfill. And I'll tell you, it would be nice to get out of the garbage business. It would. I mean, you know, somebody that knows what they're doing at all times, they would bring their own employees.
I will make one other mention right now, and then I would hope that someone would be willing to make a motion for this.
I would entertain a motion.
There are pros and cons to everything. A con may be that the road and the location isn't suitable to handle the amount of transfer that this private company would like to do. We just have to be, I personally, without looking into details, want to be assured that this company, if it's a sound company and it has a good track record, will find a way to set up this transfer station so it is effective. But we've got to look at it all, and we can't look at it unless we ask for an RFP.
Right.
I'll make a motion to send we're in support of this,
Okay. Do I hear a second on that? Jim Bush seconded, Cynthia. If you'd, and that is for the request for proposal on getting bids out. Bobby, if you'd call the roll, please.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Jimmy Manning,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Clint Higgins,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Bobby Dixon,
Yes.
motion carried.
And I'd like to thank you, Thea, for doing a good job. We asked you just a couple months ago to do it, and you've been able to get everybody together, and you're going to have another meeting, you say, in 2 weeks with
I think
CTAS.
with our whole group. I think it's the 25th of February. It's
Okay.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning, okay.
And it's open.
That's
It's open
interesting
to
to
the
look
public.
down there and see that 86% of the Cannon County solid waste budget is on hauling it and disposing it.
Well, there ain't much left to spend it on, though.
And I only put a little thing in the paper a couple weeks ago, and so maybe you didn't, it was under letters to the editor, so you may not have seen it, but anyone and everyone who has any thoughts or ideas or let's try this, or let's check on that, please, I'm box 5 readable, just write something down so I don't miss anything, and send it to me on a card or letter, or you're welcome to call me. We're in the phone book, 8088, and, because this is an everybody issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we've got Circuit Court Clerk Lynn Foster wants to address the committee, but I understand from her that she wants Judge Susan Melton to do the talking.
I don't mind talking, so. I think she's pretty good at talking.
Women are.
We're gonna,
We have,
you do it.
what they have told me when they came to me was, they have a real big problem with their office downstairs. First of all, they have no room to breathe down there, and all the spaces for all the records that must be kept are all full. Can't even get over there at the jail to get their stuff out of there. Inside there, in the little doors and little cubby holes that they have around here, is more and more record keeping, and we'll have to have record keeping. And then this goes along too with the fact is that the courts up here are just teeming out the doors with everything to do. And you cannot hold 2 courts at one time unless one is down in judge's office downstairs. So at this time, what they propose is the Cannon Courier over here has already obtained another business. And the only thing is it's their responsibility to get somebody to fill that vacancy over there, or else the Cannon Courier is going to be paying out a lease of 3 more years. Now, that over there, they want to be able to use that as a new circuit court clerk office. Now, some of you weren't on the commission as far as last last term, but we have fought over and over about trying to get a judicial building built. That's going to be $7, $8, $9 million, and we can't do it. So to alleviate this problem that we have up here, they want to be able to take the Cannon Courier over here, which belongs to Regions Bank, and to convert it. The only thing they'd have to really convert it about would be to make sure they have access for handicap bathrooms. We've got access for handicapped people to come in. They will be able to partition off their offices, and then they also have a courtroom over there that's not going to be, well, it will be almost as big as this, but there'll be modifications that have to be made, that's all. And so Judge Melton and Lynn, of course, she hasn't asked for it before, but they have not actually asked to be able to have some other place. This one here, I don't have any kind of authority over it, it's just that I'm close to the matter because of Teresa. But Teresa, can you, Regions Banks want $750 a month.
No, 705.
705, sorry. Anyway,
If I can add just a
yes,
few
please,
words.
help me.
Oh, you've done an excellent job.
Oh.
Thank you. We're just asking that there be a feasibility study. We're not here saying, please move us over there now. We would like for you to set up a committee and look at all the options, but I think you'll see that they are running out of space. As Mr. Stetzel has stated, we cannot hold 2 courts at one time. And that does happen, not a lot, but it does happen at some point in time. We also have an area back here where we have close confined areas, where we have male and female inmates. There are a lot of other issues that we'd like for you to take a look at. It would move the General Sessions Court over to this area. It would also open up the downstairs where there would be a lot more room for storage. And I know that the old jail is what's being used at this point in time, and my understanding is we're about to run out of space for some offices over there.
I can't get anything else in mine.
Right.
The basement's filling now because I'm just having to leave my
And-
stuff.
Yeah, one of the things I was going to ask you, Lynn, excuse me, Judge, was
I'm sorry.
downstairs where your office is, there's no need for any other office to go in there, is there? Not unless Catherine Player wanted more room, but I mean, could that be used as storage also? For
Where
your,
I'm at now?
yeah,
Oh, well, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
We would be taking.
Now, water still gets in. You know, we've been flooded how many times? I've had to go through a lot of stuff.
Which has gone into the computer systems.
It's even got my files. It
Correct.
got in my lower filing cabinets. And
so what we have over here at the new Courier, or any place that we thought would be right, but I think this one's the most one that's right, is that they got a brand new roof on it, brand new. And in a week's time, I believe they're coming in and they're going to be cleaning all the vent systems inside there. What I know, just as running through what they had asked for was, I don't know if you've been over there for the Courier's Christmas party, but they have a boxed in place. That would have to go up, and it'd have to be a little bit more insulated. It'd have to go up to the top so that noise from outside at the office would not interfere with the court. But at the same time, oh man, I had it right on my. I think that we need, like I say, we can't build anything. We just have to get right down to it. We just can't build anything. But I think that we ought to explore. And do you have anybody in mind that might look at what needs to be done?
No, sir, we just thought that you would form a committee and look at this. And
The renovation now, would this be done by Regions Bank, or would the county be?
No, it would be the county.
I mean, you know, they may renovate it in order to.
Well, Teresa, have they ever said that they want to renovate inside for anything?
They are going to do some starting the weekend of like the 24th area. They are going to do some, I think. I don't know to what extent.
And you don't know what it is, like maybe a ceiling or drop ceiling, or get rid of those everything up there. I think that's something that a person that wanted to rent it at that time would say, this is what we need out of it. And if they wanted to do it, then they could do it, but we'd hate for them to go up on the price.
Is there a back entrance to that building?
There is, it's not the best. You come around at the bank. There's one thing that is back there that's good, and that's Regions Banks only has about 4 employees right now. And there's parking back there also, which is going to get a lot of it off the square.
Well, I was thinking about prisoner transfer.
Prisoner transfer.
That's an
That's
excellent.
an
It sure is.
excellent one.
That is
Yeah, they don't have to come right through the front, yeah.
To keep them away from the general population.
Right. You could have a whole,
Big
you
one
could,
less security
Correct.
problem.
It would. Thank you for bringing that up.
and you say that you're just going to hold general sessions, circuit would always be over here.
I guess that would be a determination that would be made.
We don't know.
We don't know, but
We just always talk about needing space, and it's gotta be there.
Okay,
So if somebody wants to
here is one
study it,
problem that we're going to have to consider right now at this time. They are people that's been looking at it. The last person that was looking at it just Saturday said she's not going to take it because it would cost more to her, but she was going to have an elaborate setup. It cost more getting what she needed in there than she was willing to pay. Well, that brought up Lynn to be the next in line, but we still got people. I say we, I've been there so long. We still got people that are wanting to rent that. So if it's a good possibility for the court system to be able to have it, and I would think that Regions Bank would actually like to have the county having, especially a judicial over there, it would ensure that they have got a renter, and it would ensure that it's being policed anyway. But,
There is a full basement in there, isn't there?
there is a full basement.
Would that be where you'd store all your records, where you'd pull them all, consolidate them all into one location
I
if there's
hope so,
room?
but now I've not been in that I don't
haven't
know.
been in that basement
I don't
since-
know.
I have not been in that basement since Paul Reed had a
I'd love
furniture
to.
store in it.
Yeah, well, there is some
And
mold.
you got about that much room, I believe, above your head underneath.
Nah.
Or it was at that time.
Well-
I'm a grown man.
Bill and Steve had cars and trucks and everything else in there too. It does have a mold problem that Regions is addressing right now. So they'll be able to take care of that.
I mean, at some point in time, if this thing happened, I'd love to
So,
know that I could store things in there.
yes, ma'am.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
That's one of the things Regions is going to start working on when they come, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. They do have a mold problem, and they have worked on it some. But Aaron at Regions said that they have contracted now to get some people in there and actually address that problem. And inside the basement, there's a drive-through at the back, and you can drive all the way through that building and come out the front area. And inside that building is
that would be
a room put up, and it was lockable room, maybe where they used to keep some records. Anyway, there's a lot of shelves in there.
That would be good for bringing prisoners in.
But you can't get a bus in.
Yeah, and they could go on up, yeah. One of the things too that, and I'll end this with asking for a motion, but one of the things, do you have the authority to say that you'd hold off anybody coming in and trying to get it for at least a month to study this?
Yes. Ron and I talked about it. We would like to see the county get it. Regions Bank wants long-term people there. The people that we had looking at it, she had done an elaborate study. She was gonna have, it was gonna cost her $300,000 to get the building up and going. But it was $50,000 over the budget. And it was gonna be a very nice place.
It was going to be a restaurant. There was going to be more electrical stuff, and her electrical stuff was what, $80,000?
$87,000 just for her electric.
Just for her electrical. So it's not going to be a restaurant as far as that goes. We do have I keep saying that, but now let me tell you, I have nothing to do with the County Courier. I don't even write stories for them anymore, but anyway.
Has Regions entertained the thought of selling the building?
I don't think so, Jimmy. They want to keep it occupied. Our lease is actually, we have about 18 to 24 months on our lease. And 6 months before our lease is up, they have, I guess you call it an option to renew us or not. But we bought a building, so we're renovating it now. They've been excellent to work with, though.
So Regions probably wouldn't even think about selling then.
We don't know. That's where this study comes in.
Aren't the buildings intertied?
They're attached by a wall. You can't get in each, it's just a wall.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
there was.
No, it's just a wall. You can't get nowhere in it, yeah. Yeah, they're not gonna let you get into the bank that way, so,
Well, I know the bank had it all at one time.
yeah. But,
I make a motion, we have a study committee on it.
we got a second on that.
Second.
Call the roll, Bobby.
Jimmy seconded.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Who's second?
Jimmy Mabel.
Okay. Mark? He's not here. Russell Reed?
Yes.
Jim Nagle?
Yes.
Jim Bud?
Yes.
Clint Higgins?
Yes.
Tony Neal?
Yes.
Bob Stuckey?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
We, before we get done, we'll do that committee. We do need to have a committee to do this. It can be done by the commission if you wanted to, as far as that goes. I don't mind.
What about the law enforcement committee?
Well, I'm on that, yeah.
I mean, they'll have a heads up on what's needed.
Well, because they're gonna be one having to use it too.
That's right. And they're already in place.
And like I said, the main thing is gonna be what's it gonna cost. I mean, you're looking at right at $8,500 a year just in payments. You know, what it's gonna cost to rent it per year. That's not including any kind of electrical, you know, your
Renovations and stuff
well,
we gotta do.
your electricity and water and.
That's all adequate for that. I would recommend, or the committee should recommend anyway, that there be a better bathroom system there. But I think that's a good idea, Russell. I can get in contact with the law enforcement committee because actually the sheriff is pretty much, he's supposed to be able to take care of the courthouse, you know, as far as furnishing. It's funny, it's from the old days, furnishing water, furnishing heat, everything else like that, so. But, okay. Now move on, and hopefully,
Chairman?
Bob.
yeah, Ricky?
Excuse me, is it okay for Mr. Harris to come up and talk to y'all? He's got to drive back to Duke, Kentucky tonight.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Austin, do you mind? He was right in front of you. I mean, you were right in front of him. Okay, sir, Mr. Harris, come on up. We wanted to have, Mr. Harris, we wanted to have a little bit better knowledge of what you do, and also, we wanted to let you know that we were looking at your company to make sure that it did what it was supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
Okay? Because we know that y'all are in it to be able to make money, and we want to save money, and so.
Right. I've brought some information for everybody here.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to make this as short and brief, and if you guys have any questions, I'll just kind of hit this, go over some highlights, and if you got any questions, holler. This side, if you don't mind. So essentially what we've done, we've taken over the ambulance billing business for you, and overall of the, we've taken over all the claim submission, all the patient statements, the whole process, and we've also provided electronic patient care reporting software for the service for Ricky's crew down there, along with Tough Books as well. The EPCR, electronic patient care reporting software that we've used, is not only to help the service document better in the field so that they ever get called to court, they've got all the information right there, it gets them off the paper forms. It's all electronic, it allows QA, QI, but ultimately it allows us to get better documentation so that we can submit claims quicker, cleaner, better, and get better reimbursement. Previous to us, you guys, and I always talk in terms of, I don't know how much of this business you all are aware of, but probably something that you are aware of that gets thrown around the industry is gross collection percentage, net collection percentage. Those are fine and dandy, but you can throw these numbers around however you want to, and I'm going to show you why that those numbers are fine and dandy, but really what we want to talk in terms of is revenue per run. You submit so many calls, so many claims to Medicare, Medicaid, commercial insurance, patients, etc., and you're getting so much money back, okay? So if they had 123 calls, so like for January, for example, that's what this month summary first page is. For January, we submitted 123 claims or 123 calls from the ambulance service, and we received back $41,951. Essentially, if you take those and divide, we get $341 a call. Previous to us, you guys were at $303 a call on average for a whole given year, okay? And understand this is going to vary, and we're always in the rears, so to speak. So typically Medicare is paying around the day 15, day 18, but if there's any denials, if we have to file appeals, that goes further down the pike. Medicaid typically doesn't pay at those times. Commercial insurance doesn't pay at those times, and the old dreaded, if we send a patient a statement, those don't usually get paid.
So they don't show it. I mean, you don't show a good report on that.
That's exactly right. I mean, they're liable to go down to day 50, day 60, day 90, which brings me to days in AR. This is actually a brand new report for us. Most of the time it's a different looking report that we do for a month in, and essentially what I provided to you was our month in packet for January, along with 2 new forms. The second form, which is something we typically don't include in our month in, I just did it for this meeting alone, And then the first one here is our new reporting system that Ricky will have access to, and anybody else that's authorized to get it. Essentially, it's going to have a dashboard. It's going to show you, what your projected runs are. So essentially, we take the information that Ricky provided when we first started this project. We divide that over the course of over a year, and we get, you guys are scheduled to have 230 runs a month, or 220 runs a month, whatever it is, and so much in collections. So that's kind of how we base our model. I think, I can't remember exactly what our fee was, but I think our fee was somewhere around 6.5%. And I was telling Ricky, and I believe I told this commission as well whenever I came over here and was going over the spiel, was that we could see a 10% increase in revenue. Well, just kind of going over some quick numbers. We've got you were at $37,269, and some change a month before. Currently, we are at that 43,000 mark relatively to the number of runs that you get. Understand, if your run volume drops, we can't achieve 43,000.
Sure.
However, we can still achieve, again, that's why I come back to that revenue per run figure. If our revenue per run figure is at 340, it doesn't matter what number of runs you have. You could have 500 calls that month. You could have 10 calls that month. Depends on what we're getting back in return, okay? So your run volume is going to fluctuate, and ain't nobody knows that better than probably Ricky himself on what months that, are typical. It's not going to be the same every month, but it is going to fluctuate a little bit. So on average, you're at 37,269 before. We've actually been running very successful at 43,000 and higher. The difference of 57.31, and then we're talking monthly figures here. So our cost is $27.95 a month, and so if you take all these things out there, and this was the whole goal behind this in the first place, is if we could come in, provide you with tough books and software and take over your billing, we'll pay for ourselves, and then still bring more to the table for you each month. So what I've got is $35,000 at the end of the year that we're bringing more to the table for you, or $29.36 per month. So, I believe that's $29.36, and that doesn't even include equipment. So you see that we're paying for ourselves plus bringing more to the table. As far as any issues or anything on our side, the documentation from the crews is pretty fantastic. The guys know what to document, they know what to put in. The medical necessity is good. I was just going over with Ricky we've got some internal deficiency codes that we do just to be able to provide to the client whether they're missing, whether we've got a huge swing and missing medical necessities, PCS forms, documentation, diagnosis, etc. The crew is excellent in documentation. And that goes down to the collections. Ultimately, gentlemen, if the documentation from the crews is poor, our collections is going to be poor. We're going to come back to the service and say, we need more information here, we need more information here, we need to make sure that you tell the medics, the EMTs, to obtain this in the field. Non-emergency transports will not get paid unless we got a PCS form. And they're very good at supplying all this information. So part of our success is essentially part of the gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen in the service.
Well, we know that Ricky has always been, he's brought this ambulance service up to top notch.
Right.
And so we always know that. It was his recommendation that y'all take over because evidently he studied the matter. We wanted to make sure, I wanted to make sure, I don't want to talk for the commission, but I wanted to make sure that you knew exactly, we knew exactly what your intentions were as far as that. We want to be, the more money that you can collect, the more money your company's making, and
That's
the more
right.
money that Canning County can do it. And you said something about 6% of that is collected goes to y'all?
Yes, whatever our fees were, and I can't remember.
Well, that's
5.5%, okay.
Okay, and so it is now, looks like it's going to be profitable for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So then we know that it's going to be profitable for us.
Yeah. And like I said, we're charging the 5.5%, and we've increased the revenue. So, and please take into account that we've also taken that account. When we came in and gave you the rate of 5.5%, we recognized that we should be able to increase that revenue by 10%. So increasing that revenue, even though we've got it at 5.5%,
Right.
Is an industry low? Yeah, it's an industry low. It really is. But we are getting more because we're able to increase your revenue.
Well, this happened this month, in January? All these people that's in here were in January?
No.
Okay.
No.
This is your client, this is the what needs to be collected and who might be in arrears and everything else?
This is everybody this is called an AR report. What you're looking at is if you're looking at the third page, you've got a list of patients' names. You've got over 30, over 60, over 90, over 120, over 150, over 160 at the top. This is what's called an AR, aged receivables report. That shows you everything, and I've got 2 aged receivables reports in here. I got one listed by patient detail. I got one by insurance. The one by patient's it's very difficult to read. It's a lot of information. The one that typically everybody looks at is the one by insurance, because then you can group by insurance, find out where your problems lie. If you look through this report, you'll see your current bucket is usually it should be your highest. If you're doing your job, it should be your highest. That's going to be everything that it's 30 days and less. Claims that you just submitted. Over 30 is 30 and over. Over 60 is et cetera, et cetera. So when you look at these reports, you'll see what is out there. I mean, we've got, obviously I'm not going to name anything.
Yeah, we know all of them.
Right.
Yeah, so, we know better in the community, just best.
I'm going to skip a few pages. I'm going to go to insurance. How's that?
Okay.
Violate no HIPAA requirements or HIPAA laws here. If I go to insurance, I've got, let's just take Medicare for example. I've got $22,000 in the current bucket, $3,600 in the over 30, $1,900 in the over 60, $927 in the over 90. We skip the 120, we go into 150. I got $685, and then over 180, I got $1,018. So you see a gradual progression down, and while I don't have the detail in front of me, I would bet you anything. The over 150, the 685, and then the over 180, 1018, I would bet you anything that's non-emergent claims is what that is.
So Medicare, they will pay their part, but it just takes a while.
No, they actually pay fairly quick. It's the non-emergent claims that are the hardest to get paid.
Non-emergency?
Non-emergency, right. And the reason for that is there's a big crackdown in the industry because you've got a lot of private services out there that are not responding to emergency. They're taking all non-emergencies, and they're Murfreesboro Ambulance, not Rutherford County, not to be confused there. Murfreesboro Ambulance has gotten busted for essentially taking taxi, hauling several people in there for a taxi ride, and then billing Medicare. It doesn't meet medical necessity. You had several people in the ambulance, all they did was take a taxi ride, and they billed Medicare for the full reimbursement amount when they could have took a wheelchair van. That's essentially what it boils down to. So what happens is when we submit that claim, Medicare's looking and it's going through a board, and it's going through a review. The non-emergencies are going through review more than, I could document a squirrel ran over my foot, and if it was going through the emergency claim division, it'll get paid, and nobody will probably see a thing about it. But obviously, you don't want to get caught doing that. But the emergencies have no problem getting paid. It's the non-emergencies that we have an issue, which really isn't that big of a concern for us, because if we flip back to the first page, our highest percentage of what you guys have, because you are a 911 service, you don't do a lot of, I don't think you do any dialysis runs. You don't do a lot of non-emergent stuff, so most of your stuff's emergent, which is one reason. Two, that our reimbursement's fairly high. So I'm going to skip back to the second page. This is kind of the meat and potatoes here. The other reports, a lot of information. We could sit here for days and discuss. But the second page here is kind of a meat and potatoes. What I've got in green is non-adjudicated figures, and I'll explain what that means in a minute. Purple is adjudicated figures. What adjudication means is that I've submitted X amount of claims to payers, and I've gotten them paid, essentially. They are clean, they are clear. If somebody's got tertiary insurance, which is 3 insurances, I've got Medicare, Medicaid, and then another backup commercial. That means everything is paid, all the way down to the penny. Everything's clear. That's what the purple means. So if you go down to the purple and we look at our average revenue per run, it's right at $350. So on adjudicated claims, we're getting $350 on average, and this is for all payers. If you scroll to the right, I've actually broken it down by Blue Cross, Champus, commercial insurance, Medicare, the MA is a managed plan, Medicare, Medicaid, private, and then workman's comp. So if you scroll through here, you'll see, and you can kind of get an idea of who are the payers, who are the big payers. Blue Cross is a good payer, $595. Champus, $280. Commercial insurance, $328. $520 for managed plans, $390 for Medicare, Medicaid, $213. Medicaid doesn't pay a lot. And private pay, $7. And workman's comp at $390. All those averaged out, we're at $350. If you go to the top, that green is non-adjudicated figures. Again, understanding that we're always in arrears, so we've submitted claims that we haven't even had an opportunity to get payment for. So that's typically why we don't look at that figure, because if you've got claims out there that you haven't even had an opportunity to get payment for, you're comparing that to revenue dollars that you have in, and it kind of skews the numbers a little bit. It would be, yeah. Yeah. So that number is 273, and then if you go across, you can see non-adjudicated figures, 389, 120, 254. You see a difference. And then also in here, I've got your ALS, your BLS ratios, your emergent, non-emergent ratios, and then your treatment no transports. You don't see any dollar figures or anything on your treatment no transports because you guys aren't charging for them. So treatment no we don't. You don't charge for the treatment no transport. Essentially, what that is your crews respond to, say they respond to a diabetic, they pump DB50. Patient's fine, they don't transport, they leave. We could charge. A lot of services.
Charge for just going out there.
That's right.
Yeah.
And more services are starting to charge for that because, again, you still rolled the tire on that ambulance, and I don't know what it cost Ricky, but I'm assuming it's probably somewhere, it's no different than anybody else, probably $380 to $480 to roll a tire on that ambulance. So that's your FTEs, that's your equipment costs, that's your maintenance, that's the gas, everything. With everything coming down, with the feds pushing the reimbursements down, everybody is starting to try to push pennies and really get some better revenue. So treatment no transport is something that they're looking at.
Any questions to him?
It's a lot of information, I know, but
It is, but now, I was able, when we went through there and you went through the line by line, that helped me a whole lot looking at it. But one of the things I wanted to say, I hate to have to keep you so long. I didn't know you were coming from Kentucky.
Yeah, oh, it's okay.
And Ricky, we appreciate you getting here, because last month, Ricky gave us this.
Yeah.
And,
Yep, understand.
it's like reading Martian.
Right.
Okay? But now I can see it. And I want to thank you very much on it. And it seems like you're doing a good job, and we appreciate that.
Yep. If I could just add one thing is, we have, we also do Rutherford County, we do Giles County, we do several in the Nashville area, and on multiple accounts, we've been approached by state auditors, we've been approached by auditors to, help. They want to ensure that everything is being reconciled. If I would actually encourage that. So if you guys have anybody that we want to help reconcile the payments, because through that process, we just want to make sure that everything is being done to the T. We've got our comptroller that will get involved here, communicate. We've also got day-ins that we can send. I'm not actually sure if Ricky, are you getting day-ins right now, Ricky? So we can set up to actually send day-in reports to whomever it is, being Ricky, being whomever, your finance director, finance office. So it essentially shows everything that's happened for that day, transaction histories, charge, collections, adjustments, everything that's happened for that day.
Okay.
We can do that on a weekly basis, a daily basis, a monthly basis. And then, of course, your month-end reports come out every month as well.
One thing that we'd be asking Ricky would be towards our budgeting process that comes up, which will start in April and stuff like that. We might have him break it down in different places like that.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Any
Harris.
questions?
Very good report.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we've got a couple missing.
Absolutely. You can take all these.
All right, thank you.
Yep. There you go.
We got it. That's how many we got missing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Okay, Austin, we'll hear you. You're welcome.
I'm going to assume that this is not the usual attendance at the commission meeting each month.
No.
Can I then ask you to be put on the agenda for next month? I won't ever remember the commission.
Sure.
To hear what I'm going to tell you about the library expansion program.
Okay.
But briefly, let me just say, tomorrow afternoon, our building committee is meeting with local contractors to go over their bid process, and by the end of the month, or the first of next month, we will be letting bids for over $1 million addition to the library. And that's what I want to talk to the commission. I want you to understand fully what we're doing and how we're doing it, so that when you have questions from your constituents, you'll be able to answer them with some intelligence. I'll be here next March, 13th?
March 13th, I believe. Yes, sir.
And I do
It's a Tuesday, second Tuesday.
Okay. If I speak now, 3 members of the commission will get some questions. They won't, I want all of you to be able to answer the same questions in the same language, in the same words. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'll see you then next month.
All right. Okay, Jimmy, you are the one that brought up, you wanted to revisit the request from Grady George, which is from the fire department, on a vehicle to carry the Cascade equipment. We had, at the last time, we had talked about him finding transmissions and finding different things to be able to make this one ambulance worthwhile to be able to carry that. However, that hasn't happened, right?
Well, what came up, there was a transmission in Florida, according to Kevin George, Kevin Mooneyham, that we could get for like $700. But, then get it up here, and Darrell said he had the expertise to put it in. Well, that has never came about. looking at the ambulance that we're talking about renovating and changing around, that, well, some thought it would be good, some thought it wouldn't be good. So it's kind of questionable where it is not. But the transmission's out, the engine doesn't run, so there's going to be quite a bit of work in there. And from what I understand, a transmission, you know, after about 150,000 miles on it, if you get one like that, you're better off to rebuild it and go ahead and put it in. Well, the transmission in here is out. To rebuild it, you're probably talking $3,500 to rebuild the transmission, or to get a Jasper rebuilt transmission. And I know we didn't really come up with an amount where, hey, we can spend on this. It came up, you know, we're gonna get the transmission in, Daryl's gonna install it, and we're gonna have it running. Well, the ambulance doesn't even have batteries in it. It's got to have batteries, it's got to have. And
So you're looking
possibly-
at the fact of what it would take to refurbish this ambulance, on the original money that was asked for $3,000, I think, right, for the,
I think 3,500.
for that truck?
Well, yeah, there was two vehicles. One was
Yeah.
25 and I think one was 35.
Yeah.
But we don't even know that those are even
available now, right?
No, it could not be. But, you know, even if we go with this ambulance here, I think getting a transmission from Florida and bringing it in and rebuild it, why not take this transmission, spend what it takes to have it rebuilt, if we, you know, if we agree to go with that route. Or look at another bread truck, or what they were looking at, you know, in this taller. On this ambulance here, it's, the height of it was 60 inches, and the bottles are 57, so you had about a 3-inch clearance at the top. It's very, but they said it possibly, with enough work, they could go ahead and remove the cabinets in there and make this work. So, according to one I talked to, they kind of like the ambulance. It's got a 7.0, you know, diesel engine in it, and they think it's going to be a good engine, but they can't get it to run right now. But they said, well, it's because it sets along, you know, and they know what it takes to get it running. Well, so I'm kind of left in the middle. Do we want to go ahead and spend the money to get a bread truck? And what this is for, let everybody know, they've got 2 units for refilling oxygen bottles. If they go into a house of fire, normally a bottle will last about 20 minutes.
Well, it's breathable air, it's not oxygen.
Well, it's breathable
It's breathable air.
Yeah, true. But, yeah, you're right.
It ain't smoke.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely. But anyway, and on a fire like that, if they're going there fighting a fire, then they don't have any way to refurbish
You'd have
those
to go
bottles.
back to,
So they've got 2 units. They got a permanent one, a stationary one. They've got at Short Mountain where they can refill the bottles. Then they got a grant for a portable one. Well, for a portable one, you've got to have a vehicle to put it in, and where you go to the different fires and be there to refill the bottles.
So what you're saying is, you're thinking it'd be better off to buy a new truck than spend the money on a home?
I'm thinking, yeah. But even on the fire board, I'm getting a feeling in one way. Some's wanting to go ahead and get the money and rebuild this ambulance and get it going, and some want to go ahead and go with the bread truck. But, you know, does the commission gonna okay to go ahead and spend that kind of money on this?
well, see, we didn't on the first time. We had wanted them to rebuild it. Although I know every bit about what you're talking about there. When you start talking about somebody responsible, get this transmission up, and then when you get it up here after you buy it, you got to find out you got to rebuild it or whatever it might be at that time. And I think it's a big pain. I was one of the ones that instigated that they sat there and helped themselves instead of coming to the county's budget to get all this money. You know, any kind of money like that. I wanted them to try to go ahead and rebuild it by taking parts off another one, but I can see now that it's not, it doesn't work that way. And so now we are again up against having to be able to come up with it.
The bread truck runs, right?
Well, I don't know if they even available. I don't know that. Of course, that's been 3 months ago.
Yeah, well, we could actually have Jimmy ask them if they got something like that in mind, if something is
Well-
available, and then present it again to us for
Well,
that. Because
what-
we can't just say yes, it's for something that we
Yeah.
don't even know what it is, so.
Well, why don't we, if that's the case, take the ambulance since it don't run anyway, sell it, take the money
Well, that was
out of the
another-
ambulance and help pay for the bread truck, you
That's
know.
what we wanted.
If
That
the
was
ambulance is
another
just sitting over there and not being used anyway, it's not doing anybody any good.
Right, right.
And I've been told that you can sell that engine out of that ambulance for somewhere around $1,000, if not more, just for the engine alone.
It's mostly sold for scrap. If it sits there, it's waste.
You got pictures of it?
We get it sold for scrap. We got
There's
some out
a
of it.
picture of the bottle, there's a picture of the ambulance, and here's your pumping station for the Cascade system.
This is the ambulance you're talking about, the black one?
Bring
yeah.
$1,000.
But,
Gary, you can part it out.
Part it, if you
Yeah.
can find somebody to buy the part.
Right.
I'd say, okay, I'm thinking like, Tony was saying, if they can, find a bread truck that's runnable and good in shape and what they suits everybody, and take this, sell it, put it in on it, and,
I think that would have to be the catalyst there, they'd have to sell it. And they don't want to sell it. We'll tell them that, I mean, when they come up with it, that the money that they are going to sell that for will be helping to pay for the other one. That's almost what we told them the last time. Russell?
you're saying it
Ultimately,
belongs
it's
to
up to us whether they sell it or keep it.
Yeah, it's ours.
You know, it's county property.
Yeah, you're
Not
right.
EMS property, not
Right.
fire department property, it's county property.
Jim? I know you got something to say.
We've also got a motion we did the last meeting on it to rescind on the transmission too.
Yeah, in Florida. And who's gonna go to Florida and get it and
Well,
do all that?
But now, that Cascade system come in a grant, didn't it?
It came in on a
If
grant.
we don't, is there any kind of time limit of it being set into a unit before we have to pay that grant out of
I
our own
don't know
pocket?
if it does, I'm not aware.
Grant here?
No.
Where's this truck at?
It's that phase, I'd say.
Yeah, sitting down at phase. JR's been going and looking at it.
Look at it.
Down there one time.
Okay, when you want to go?
This next Saturday.
I'll go with you. And that's probably right to do with the policy that we've said that we were going to do. We're going to investigate it and make sure that we can get the best money out of it or use it if we have to. So there's nothing that needs to be proposed here. You can tell Grady to look again and then to come before us and the budget committee.
Locate another vehicle and then
Come to us.
come to the meeting and
Right.
Have a mechanic look at it,
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
sure it's runnable.
You just chasing good money for bad money. I mean, if
Yeah.
this is gonna cost $3,000 or $4,000 to get running, you're better off to buy something you know it's running. If that's the case, if we're gonna do this.
well, that's one way of looking at it, but once you spend the money on that, you know, you got.
You're married to it, it's yours.
You know, you could have,
If you invest in that, you've gotta keep it. You ain't no getting out of that
That's just
hand.
like buying a used car.
Yeah,
You
once,
buy it, you buy somebody else's product.
that's right.
That's why I ain't taking the time.
Okay. Okay, if you will look, sent you a yellow map. Okay? This yellow map, the ones that are not, the yellow that you see that is not included in this red are the ones that have been annexed by the city of Woodbury in 2008 and 2009. The way that I think about it, Stan, was these were requested by the people that live there, wasn't it? That they be annexed into the city.
I understand that was the
Okay.
principle behind what the city did back there.
Right, okay, now, we have two things here, gentlemen. We have two things, is that the 5th district is the town limits of Woodbury. You have this annex going out into the 4th district, you've got it going out to the 2nd district, you got it going out to the 1st district. So, what we have to do here is say that we are going to go ahead and approve what they have annexed. And once we do that, then the city will, and I must tell you this too, the only people that are even bothered in this is less than 100 people. Is that not right? 100 voters are going to be put into the 5th district, because we can't have all these people inside the city limit voting in 4 different districts. So they're going to vote in 1, and that's the city limit. That's that'd be the 5th district, my district. So we have to make a motion to be able to approve and one of the things is that I think that what is Jana's last name, hon? Jana George? Regal. Her and her husband evidently has requested that 12 acres over here that you'll see going towards McMinnville is in the city limit now. They requested that, so there's 11 or 12 acres there. So, and down below it, that goes into the 4th district, and then over on the left you got the 1st district, and then you got the 2nd district, which is yours, Jimmy, going up there, and that is going to include probably into. Did we say it would go into Dale Bush's house, or?
It goes where Auburn Hill subdivision is, and up. The best I can look at it without having a topograph, it runs up that little dry branch between that little bitty white house and Dale Bush's.
Okay. So we have to approve their annexation, and then the election committee will be putting that inside the city limits.
Will that cause the other districts to have to be reappointed?
No, because that's why I'm talking about it.
It stays within the give or
it was less than 100 people, and almost all of the, I think it's on the next, no, it's on one of the included in here, is that it shows the population of all the different districts that we have here. And I think 5th district is the lowest one anyway, or one of the lowest.
I've got the 2nd and 5th and the 4th. But the 1st and 3rd, I know.
You have a better look at what you're getting in once you do that, go into what the city has sent me. Does anybody see the population? Yeah, here it is. It's on the yellow page. It's on the yellow page. Yeah, the 5th district at 2632, the 4th district at 2821. And so what this is going to do, 2720, is a 2nd district. It's actually, with that 100 people, it's going to be bringing us up to where we're about in par with all of them. So I'll entertain a motion to adopt, to
Y'all, if you're going to make the motion to move the boundary lines, the district lines around what the city is in Wisconsin.
Right, you got that, Cynthia? Okay. We're going to be making a motion to move the boundary lines around the 5th district.
Around the new annex.
On the
new annex.
Yeah, of what is annexed for the city. Bobby? We need a motion. Who made that motion?
Nobody.
Nobody? Okay. Oh, Stan did?
I ain't making no motion. I can tell you.
I'll make it.
Okay, we need a second. Got Clint Higgins as second. Call the roll, please.
Russell Reed.
Yes.
Andy Daniels.
Yes.
Jim Bush.
Yes.
Clint Higgins.
Yes.
Tony Neal.
Yes.
Bob Ketchum.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Now, Stan, you wanted to address,
Well, we had some on the budget committee, but it never did come up on the budget committee, so.
you didn't, I was here when he said, does anybody else want to do it? I saw you get up from the table. Did you not
Yeah,
talk
I
to
gave
him?
it to them, and,
Oh.
they supposed to pass it on to y'all.
Did you hear anything about the budget committee passing his request?
They didn't.
They didn't pass it.
They didn't pass, they passed it on to y'all.
Yeah.
Oh.
They didn't have no recommendation.
Oh, what it is, the way I understand, and Stan, you can fill in everything, is that his secretary, Ms. Mankin, has been working and being paid for 36 hours?
34 hours. and she's
34
working
hours.
40.
And she is now being raised to full-time at 40 hours, correct?
Yes.
And so he's wanting to get her paid, and it wasn't set in the budget last year. It was already set for 36 hours, what he made the budget out. And now there's going to be a difference of the money that she is making that she's not getting. And to July 1st, that is what?
What is it, Matthew?
I don't have that right in front of me.
I got a copy.
I think runs out July 1st, right?
Yeah, they have made a motion last month at their committee, at their meeting to do this. Lindbergh was supposed to give it to y'all last month, but we were doing other stuff and.
I'll go ahead and read it. It says, due to the influx of requirements by the county and the state, Dorinda Mankin has been working 40 hours per week and will continue to do so from now on. As a result, additional money needs to be allocated to accommodate this expense and added to the line item 105-51500-162 in the amount of $5,607 even dollars. This does not include any overtime that may be incurred during the upcoming election year. If you have any questions regarding this matter, please contact Stan Dobson, Administrative Elections, or myself, Lindbergh Dennis, Commissioner. And this was passed on to Mark, right? And who else?
We passed it on to Mark.
Clint, you were in on the budget meeting?
I didn't, I wasn't here.
Y'all weren't.
Clint and Doc and Atkins.
James, yeah.
James
Atkins, yeah.
And this has the unanimous endorsement of the full commission, election commission.
Right.
Just a matter of properly moving those monies onto that line so that she can be paid for those additional hours she will be working there.
It's gonna be how much?
Go ahead.
It's gonna be how much more a year in salary?
It's not a salary.
Well, how much?
Hourly, yeah.
Okay, how much?
40 hours per week.
And how much more a
80
year?
hours every 2 weeks.
And how much more a year?
We're,
5607.
the amount is 5,607.
I think that's what we got from Diane.
From now to the end of the year.
Yeah, now to the end of the year. It's
Calculated
roughly
It's 4
$1,000
months.
a pay period.
Right, March, April, June.
There's 11 pay periods.
March, April, May, June, 4 months. Let me ask you this. See, this is going to make a difference when it comes to budget time in the first place, because that would be something that you would be asking for a 40-hour
We had
employee.
34 hours, we had her paying her 30 hours a week. She worked 4 days a week. The election commissioner moved up to 34 hours a week, and the money was supposed to be approved. And the county commission took that money, that $2,600 out, along with $10,000 out of our budget.
And cut it, you said.
And that's what throwed us short of money.
Mhm.
So now we're having to come to y'all and ask for the money. And I was told back last year when I needed it, all I had to do was come and ask for that money. Well, we're now having to work 40 hours a week. And a lot of people don't understand. We've got elections this year. They started in November. We're going to work through March the 6th. Then we've got 3 weeks to finish the presidential preference. April 5th, we start on August. And in June, we start on November. So, and I understand people say, well, we don't have but one election this year. Well, you're sadly mistaken. These elections run year-round. We're constantly working elections. We don't have a break. And the state legislature up yonder is a new legislature, and they're demanding reports daily, weekly. Sometimes they call us and ask us to have it by lunch.
The report burden has quadrupled.
Okay, let's, ma'am, you had your hand raised.
I'd like to say something.
Could you identify yourself?
My name is Wanda Hyford.
Okay.
And there's 3 elections in this year.
Mhm.
But there's only one in this budget. It goes from July to July. Then the next year's budget, there will be 2. They get reimbursed for the presidential primary. They get reimbursed for the presidential election. But they only have to be paid, they don't get paid for the county election.
You sound real knowledgeable. What do you do?
I'm retired from the co-op.
Wow. Well, one of the things here that this is me personally, one of the things I'm trying to figure out that it's not really, to me, it's not really an issue of how many elections they got this year. It's an issue of that they've hired a young lady and she was doing a job at so many hours, and now they have had to increase her hours and they put her up at full time, and it's talking about paying a person for what they're working. That's
There is no raise in this, it's just hours.
right.
This $5,600, was that per, or was this total?
That was a total for the rest of the year.
Till the end of June.
Right.
To the end of June?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not per pay period then? I mean,
The way I understand it, though, the election commission hasn't approved this.
I thought he just.
No, they 100% agreed to it.
Yeah, they said that.
The
No.
election commission has.
No, you wasn't at the last meeting, and I talked to someone that was at the last meeting, and they said no, that they did not approve Stan to come up here and ask for more money for her.
This matter was taken care of at least 2 or 3 meetings ago.
Well, that's not what I was told. I was told that they did not agree to do
The date of this letter,
that.
Tony, is January.
Well, okay, I'm just saying though what I was told. I was told that the commission did not agree to do this.
Well, there's one of the commissioners right here,
Well, that's one out of how many?
1 out of 5.
I'm just telling you what I was told,
Dennis's name
you
is on
know.
that.
I'm just telling you what I was told though.
I'm sorry, Stan.
You got the original copy.
Yes, I did, and I've been looking for it. I did get a letter from them telling what was going on, and I could have put it with the FOP stuff. But anyway, that's the situation that we're up against right here. It's not, it is not my place to advocate as much as I did for the courier there, because this involves the something that's evidently here is a touchy subject. We didn't want to do anything that was going to try to make us spend any money out of budget, out of context of what it was. But then we have this situation where it says in the Bible that a person's worth their work. They're worth their wages when they work. And that's just me quoting the Bible. But,
Well, you know, what I'm, like you're saying, we're working out of the realms beyond the budget.
right, right.
I mean,
The one thing with me, Stan, is the fact that the budget committee didn't say yay or nay. They just left it to us, and that's not the way it's supposed to be.
Well, that's what I thought.
Because we're supposed to be able to say to them, it have been recommended, they have reconciled where the money's coming from, and you can go ahead and do this. And they didn't do it, and I hate that. It's almost like voting on something that you don't know anything about.
Well, they don't want to take praise or blame.
What I'm passing out here is just basically the TCA codes that give some guidance into when the election commission has a budget and when they've submitted a full, when they've submitted a full budget to the county commission. The county commission is encumbered to, if it's a unanimously passed budget, county commission is guided to endorse and adopt that budget proposal.
But it wasn't.
But that's not what happened.
Right.
You guys cut it pretty deep.
Well, hopefully what we've done this year will rectify that.
Right, yeah, I'm hoping that's the case.
It's not,
well,
it's certainly not fair to Miss Mankin.
Well, I understand that too, but this was done after their budget was set. They're there again.
You're right. Yeah.
So, I mean,
It's not like it was that way before.
Exactly.
And they should
I mean,
have,
they might use that argument that, well, yeah, we cut their budget, but there wasn't nothing said about bringing somebody in full-time. This was done as of January.
No, that's just when this letter was typed. This
All right.
discussion
When-
has been going. This
When did you
discussion-
vote unanimously to put her on full-time?
Yeah. the
All right,
minutes-
so it was after the budget was passed.
Okay.
That's it.
I say put it off till next time
We're
budget.
required then to come to the commission and submit a amended budget to address that issue, and that's what
Or we
Stan
can
has
say
done.
yes or no.
All right, then I'm gonna say something. You've had people come in here wanting to buy an ambulance, and you've had people gonna come in here and change their program, y'all all agreed to this. I've got a woman over there that works 40 hours a week, and she's gonna get paid 40 hours a week. Do all of you really understand this now? She's gonna get paid 40 hours a week. There's a TCA code with the state of Tennessee that says when we hire somebody, we have to pay her what we told her. Now, I know y'all just went through a lawsuit, or a threat of a lawsuit, but as honest as I can be with y'all, when we hire somebody, we have to pay her. I don't care what you say.
Now, wait a minute.
We have to pay her.
Okay.
So-
But you paid her to work,
40
not
hours a week.
full-time.
Full-time, 40 hours a week.
When?
We started her
When did you hire her?
3 years ago.
Working her 40 hours?
No,
No,
working her 30 hours a week, because this commission would not pay her for more hours.
Okay. Now, at that time, did you hire
We
her
asked
to
for
work
more
40
hours.
hours?
We asked for more hours then.
Okay.
Before you came on the board, I think Bob was on it, and that's it.
Okay, but when did you actually hire her to work 40 hours?
Back in the year 2011.
So that was after the budget time? So you didn't put that in your budget?
We didn't expect to have to put her on for it.
I think they actually tried to put it in their budget, but it was denied.
I think
We put extra hours in the budget.
Well, that's not, okay, so
The
that's on for 6 months then.
County commission, y'all all voted it down.
Okay. so
We told
then
you
it'd be,
then that we
I'm saying,
needed it,
double
and
that,
y'all
okay?
said, and I'll quote, if you
Okay,
need
so
it, come
you're-
back and ask
then
for
you're
it.
at-
And I believe Kevin George said,
You're at 60
well, if you gotta
bucks
come
an
and
hour,
ask
so
for it,
she's
why do you
gonna
need a
pay
budget?
then.
My statement is
Because you
that.
said, I'm saying she's only working 4 more hours.
You know, I didn't know I
So
had
when
to
you
have
tell me
40
she's
hours
gonna
a
get
week.
$10,000 for 4 more hours, you divide that.
You know, so we took it to the election commission, and they voted to pay her.
Okay, and what did, what's your budget look like now? We had it last meeting, I think we had shown what the election commission was. You were right online?
We're right online with
Yeah.
what we said. We
So-
still got this election to do. We've got the stuff that we got, and everybody thinks that the state's gonna pay us this money tomorrow, or March the 7th. They'll pay it when they get ready to pay it. And they pay for certain things, and they guarantee it. There's other things they don't pay for. Now, when we have the city elections in the fall, each city's required to pay us for their election. But we always have to put the money up front. We make the bills, y'all have already approved us money to pay them. Hopefully, we don't run over, but occasionally, some line items we run over and we have to move money around. We cannot move money around on the salary line. Or wage line. We cannot move money into that.
Into salary. That's what I was gonna ask. You can't take it out anywhere and put it in salary. That's what I thought. You know, you can do it for just about everything else.
We can do everything else. All we have to do is come by and tell y'all we're gonna do it.
Well, yeah, and there's, as a commission, there's one thing that we cannot do. We cannot sit there and say that we're gonna fund that money when you put in a budget next time. We just can't do that. We don't know what's gonna happen between today and that day. And the only thing that we can do is act on it now, either yes or no. Because there's been a request made. I really didn't like the fact that the budget committee didn't give us a recommendation. I mean, I know that we're all, can think good, but we set it up so that the budget committee would run interference for us for that. You know, that they would find where the money's coming from. We know where the money would be coming from, I mean, as far as that goes. But they would identify that with the faxes that pay this young lady. But, so I think something before us has been lawfully before us. We need to vote on yes or no whether or not we want to fund that money.
Well, I think we need to take it back to the budget committee.
Okay. All right. If that's the case, let me ask this. Would we go retro to that last month when they asked for it? If the budget committee says yes, and they figured out from January till the end of the year she'd do $5,607, would we include this month to pay her, or would we just pay her what it takes for the rest of the year?
Well, I have a problem working out of the budget, period.
Hey, I know what you're thinking.
You know, I run a house, I gotta watch what I do in my household, and, you know, I've got to work within my means, and I'm sorry.
Okay, that is your
That's my
opinion. And what we need to do, like I say, is lawfully come before the commission at this time, and I think we need to vote on it, yea or nay. So I would like somebody, and there might as well go, to make the motion that we pay it. And then if it comes up no, then it comes up no. Anybody want to make that motion?
I make a motion, we pay her, take it out of fund balance, what's the amount?
5607.
07.
Make the motion, take 5607 out of fund balance, transfer it to election commission for salary.
Any
or
second?
wages, however you want to word it.
Second.
We're gonna do what now?
Take that $5,600 out of fund balance and transfer it to election commission, put it on the wage line.
Anything, Jim, I think
Budget
is,
committee's done showed us, they ain't gonna touch it.
so,
So it was before them, they just did.
yes.
That's what they
Right, they didn't
said.
act on it.
They
I was
failed to take any motion.
And we got to do something. And
You got the motion?
I got a motion to pay $5,607 to the election commission that will go to the salary of Miss Mankin until the end of the year. We have a motion by Russell Reed, and
I'll second.
we have a second by Jimmy Mingle. Bobby, if you would call.
Russell Lee.
Yes.
Jimmy Mann.
Yes.
Jim Bush.
No.
Clint Higgins.
No.
Tony Neal.
No.
Bob Stetson.
Yes,
3 for and 3 against. Motion failed.
Motion failed.
motion failed.
Well, y'all just violated TCA code and you will,
it
you will hear from us. I'm sorry. You know, I'm gonna say something for all of you here. I've worked 3 years to have an honest, clean, fair election every time we have one. The people that got the offices, got their offices because we made dang sure that everything was legal and fair. All right? I've given you a TCA code there that says you must fund, and I've not ever threatened to do anything. But you've got a code there that you just violated. You know what happens when you violate it? You answer for it.
Well, you
I'm
can,
sorry the attitude comes from Bob. I appreciate everything y'all done, but, you know, you got a person here from the election commission that's telling you what's going on.
yeah.
So,
Basically, Bob, what it does is it just avails us only one option now. We have to now go before a judge.
Right.
And sue this county commission to follow the letter of the TCA code and fully fund the election commission budget that the full commission passed on to the county commission.
Yeah.
And there's a stack of precedents this long. It's a lawsuit that the county will not win.
Yeah, I can tell you from experience that you'll get it.
we're gonna win, and we'll do
We don't want-
damages
we'd
But-
off the county.
But it's
We'd rather
gonna,
not have to do that.
it's gonna kill you.
But when we made some tight budget changes and tried to consolidate some polling places, it harmed and upset a lot of people. All right, that battle that we should have fought this commission for cutting our budget in the first place. But we didn't. We tried to work within those dollars and make some reasonable changes that really upset a lot of people. We're not gonna do that this time. We're gonna take it at the battle line where it needs to be fought, and hopefully the citizens will understand that.
Well,
Would you give me 5 minutes and let me say something?
yeah,
It's not in anger.
I think,
It's not in anger.
no, it's not, but let me.
Can I ask one question real quick?
Yes, sir.
All right, you said the 5607, and that was for 6 months.
That's from
For the end of the year.
That's 11 pay periods.
So that's what it'll be total over
Yes. There's
the whole
no-
year.
That's nothing added on to what we've already got. That is
The payer,
what
back
she will
payer,
be paid
and
from the 1st of February on through the end of the year.
all right, so that is an additional 467.25 a month. More. If you take and figure up the 5,000 and divide it by 12, it comes to 467.25.
In a 12-month period.
You know, I don't think there's a back pay issue, is there?
No,
I think
there's no back
that-
pay.
But it's going to be a continuing. It's going to be a continuing pay, though, correct?
It'll be $500 per week, it's $1,000 every paycheck, and that's the way it is.
That figure in the letter represents to the end of the year.
She makes like
Right.
900 and something a pay period now, and it'll be $1,000. Because she's gonna get 6 more hours every week, which is 12 hours of pay period, at $12.50 each, so like $100. Because, you know, if
Okay.
you do 6 hours, it's $72.
I would say this, Stan, just from my heart. We took the action in the fact is it was illegal and we voted on it.
Yeah, I know.
And so I don't think that your 5 minutes is gonna make any difference except
Well, I
for
just
somebody's
like-
gonna be, you're
yeah.
either gonna be mad or we're gonna be
No.
mad. And that's not the way that it should be.
Right now, I'm not mad. I'm upset, but I'm not mad. For the, you just need to be quiet over there.
Who?
Last year, I took my time and my money and I went to the state legislature when the new paper ballot incident was coming up. The state election commission made a promise to the government that they would not appeal it if they would stall it for 2 years. They stalled it for 2 years. When it came up last year, I spent my dimes, my dollars, and my time to go to Nashville. And I spent a lot of time down there lobbying for Cannon County. We ain't got the money. It was $231,000 up front. It was $40,000 to $60,000 a year every year after to maintain a place for this equipment, a vehicle to haul this equipment in because it's heavy, and extra people to work it. And I went up there and told them, I said, Cannon County does not have this money. I did it myself. I got Dennis Stanley from DeKalb County, Debbie Steidel from Putnam, Wanda Daniels from Clay County, and Tammy Smith from Macon County. We're all small counties other than Putnam. We stood together down there and talked to them. We ended up with 64 administrators out of the state of Tennessee, out of 95, that stood up to your legislators that y'all elected, and we told them we don't have the money. And they stopped and said, okay, Stan, we'll agree with you. We pass a law that says if you want to do this and buy this equipment, you can. And if you don't have to. Now, I've spent my time trying to help Cannon County. And I'm really surprised at what's going on. But the ones that voted for this, I appreciate it.
Well,
Y'all can talk to him.
what I say is this job is too much for you. You don't need to have it. You know, if you can't handle the job. Yeah, well, I mean, you don't tell me.
Let's move on,
If
Chairman.
that job is.
All right, is there any, from the audience, is there any other business need to be brought up? Then after 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Wait a minute, I've got a other business right here.
Well, there, all right.
I got a call from someone that's on the Homeland Security Committee, and they hadn't been meeting like they should. And they asked me if I would do something to put meetings in place to make them meet. Because we did pass a resolution that they had to meet. Remember that?
Right, I do.
And I was just wondering if I could set up the meetings that they have to meet, and then get Mike or whoever's supposed to mail out the letters and tell them the dates of their meetings that they have to meet. What do
Anybody?
we have to do to do that? Do we
The
have to
only
make a
thing we have to
motion, or-
do is ask the county executive to do that. I remember when we said, especially when Faye was answering questions, we told her that she had to meet, you know, because you cannot run any kind of organization without having meetings.
I think it's specified 4 times a year, wasn't it?
Yeah. They were supposed to have a meeting in January, and they didn't.
Yeah, they had one meeting, they've had one meeting since y'all told them to meet.
Did they?
I sat in on that meeting.
When was it, Michael?
Sometime in January, I think.
Okay.
But
But they have had one meeting since y'all told her to have her meetings. We've had one meeting.
they suggest that we have the meetings the first Thursday. They would like to have one like in March, and then one in May, then one in August, and one in November.
You on the Homeland Security?
No, I'm not. This is just somebody
Anybody here
that
that's
called
on
me that was
Homeland
on the.
Security? No, I think they got everybody that's,
Law enforcement and.
right, law enforcement, fires, different things like that.
Rescue squad, people on rescue
Well,
squad,
I'll tell you,
stuff like that.
it'd probably do you better if you would do a little bit more homework and bring it next
Jim's
next
on it.
meeting.
When I get changed to it.
You've been on it since we started.
I ain't even had a notification of the meeting.
Yeah, that's right, they haven't been meeting, Jim.
Here's your members. Mike Gannon, Howard Blair Jr., Alan Paschal, Kirk Bush, Alan Morris, Wayne Hancock, Tim Bell, Fay Mars, John Naylor, Grady George Jr., Jim Bush, Darrell Young, and Dr. Leon Rulin. And Roy Sullivan's been added.
That might be why my phone ain't
If you would, bring that again before the next meeting. All right, do a little bit more homework. Now, do I will enter.
Got one more thing, Mr. Rulin.
I would want to hear what Russell says.
No. I'm just saying, it's the last thing in the packet.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Rulin resigning as
Hey,
county.
what, medical examiner? I didn't get that packet. It was sent out
You
after
should have sent it to yourself.
No, I didn't get it.
It was in our packet.
She doesn't have it either because I gave the packet to, yeah.
It's in my packet.
This was,
Yeah, it was
well, I
in
mean,
mine.
it was added after I gave it
Yeah,
to
I
the
got
county.
one. Oh, okay.
Let's let
I
the
get
chairman
that,
be
yeah.
informed.
Okay, he's just telling us, so now we're gonna have to find us a medical examiner.
Right, that's his letter of resignation.
He resigned as county
I say,
examiner. You German?
UT school.
I say that we accept his letter of recommendation because if a man doesn't wanna work there, then don't make it.
I agree, second.
Okay. Somebody make a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to
Adjourn. Second.
All in favor, go home. All opposed, they sit here all night. Can you imagine if we tried to take care of all this business on a monthly basis? I mean, on a quarterly basis?
It wouldn't be near as much, I don't believe.
Maybe not.
All right.
Oh, man. Another one in the books.
Hey, I come down to this. And I was give Diane her, and I always give you those. I hope that you got.
Well, that's just something we can get.
But, yeah, I brought up the trailer,
Okay, I am.
So they do some of the stuff.